Hi there, folks. I'm Capt Monte with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report. This week, when the weather permits, we've still been running out here to the South Jetty and the North Jetty. There's been pretty good schools of redfish that are hanging out on both ends. I'm usually in that 25 to 30 foot of water. You can use 1 to 3 ounce weight, just depending what that current's running like out there. Cut menhaden's been working real well. Cut mullet, live shrimp has been working. With live shrimp, there's been some Spanish mackerel out there. There's been pompano out there. We've been catching pretty good trout out here. There's still a few sheephead hanging around. So right now around this jetty, on the outside, on either side of the rocks, been holding pretty good fish. There are still bull reds out there, but there are pretty good numbers of slot reds. We've been having a fluctuation in tides with these storms. So once the tide starts coming back in, the menhaden are still popping all the way down the channels, and the fish are following them in. Over here on the edges of McDermott, there's still been fish hanging around right here. One day we've been catching black drum, slot reds, speckled trout. Pretty much in here I've been using live shrimp, just with like a quarter or a half ounce weight, like a knocker rig, and putting them shrimps right there on the rocks. Same way out here in front. Still fish been holding off here. I try to like it when it's a slow incoming tide. Put them baits right up on the rocks and let them float back. You can either use it free line or you can add a little weight to it. But there's pretty good fish working all this edge all the way down to the ferries right now. We've also been catching some mangrove snapper. They're starting to come on in. So live shrimp or a piece of cut shrimp on any of these rocks or structures, all the way from Port Aransas all the way to Corpus, we've been catching them. So good fish all the way coming through the jetties right now. Good trout bite. First thing in the morning is all this right out in front of Brown Root Flats on the shrimp boat side, on the ICW side. The only deal about this is you need to watch out for them big ships. You start seeing them big ships coming, you better get back out there in that deeper water, because they'll make a big wake and they can flip a boat. These rocks coming all the way down through here on the Point of Mustang, just depending. We've been having some north winds. Been holding trout through here. When the wind switches back around, we'll come back on the Point of Mustang and work this inside. There's some scattered rocks right through here, and this bar out in front. Been some pretty good trout hanging out here. Live croaker are in the bait stands right now, and we've been using them for our trout. Also over here on the Point of Pelican, there's some scattered rocks coming out here in that 15 foot of water. Live croaker or shrimp under a popping cork. Been catching pretty good numbers of trout all through here around Pelican right now. Same deal. Be careful of the ship traffic. They do seem to throw pretty big wakes. We've also been coming over here at the Point of Ransom. First thing in the morning, working the Point of Ransom with live croaker. And we just been working and bumping on down all the way down to Dagger and just working all of this area. 3 foot of water has been working real well. If you get out there in that deep and you can find where it just starts dropping off, that has been the ticket. Right where it drops, where them grass beds are, and it starts dropping into that sand. If you can find that edge right there, they've been holding good trout. All the edges have been really holding pretty decent fish, so you can throw it up on the flats and start working it back towards that deeper water, and real slow on the croaker, and they usually been getting pretty good hits. As the sun pokes up, been coming back into Dagger and working all these little chains of islands. Cut mullet, live mullet, cut menhaden, even cut ladyfish right now. There have been black drum through here on these islands. There have been good numbers of redfish. When that sun really pokes out, You can kind of see that mud stir. You can see tails. There have been good fish working all these little islands up against the spool banks. Back here up against these back reefs, been pretty good numbers of black drum on dead shrimp with just a lead head. So there have been a lot of fish coming in. Some days they want to eat better than others, but if you stick with it and just kind of keep bumping and moving, you're going to find those fish, later part of the day. If they're not eating first thing in the morning, well, it might be lunchtime or after lunch, but as soon as we get some water flowing, they'll usually turn on. So all this area back up in the back of Ransom and these little back coves, there have been good numbers of redfish back here first thing in the morning also. Even sea lice or even cut pin perch have been working real well. So all this area is potential to get your limits. Might have to work at it a little bit longer, but take your time, enjoy the day, and you'll find the fish. Same deal, there's fish coming in from the jetties. They're either going towards the southeast or they're going towards the north. They'll follow this Liddy Ann channel. So if you got live croaker in the morning, getting on these grass beds out here in front of the lighthouse, there's been good trout through here. You might have to weed through some smaller ones, but there's potentials to catch that bigger trout. And just work it all the way down to Quarantine. There's been good trout coming all the way back around Quarantine and starting to show up on Trailer Island. So all this area through here been holding good trout. They just been kind of coming in and slowly moving down. And live croaker has been the ticket, it seems like right now. As day comes on and the sun comes up, there's still been good redfish coming in from the jetties too. So if you can get up here tighter up on the outside with cut mullet or even live mullet or cut menhaden or cut shad, there have been redfish all the way from Little Trout Bayou all the way back to Port Aransas. Even through Corpus Christi Bayou right now, there's been fish coming in through here. There have been some black drum hanging out on this outside as soon as you come in, mixed in with some redfish. And then they're going to just start moving down the chains, the old terminal, all the way over to the Klondikes. So all of this area right through here, all the way around to the Klondikes, depending which way the wind and the current's flowing, good place to catch your redfish and black drum all through here right now. Fish are starting to show up, coming to the New Aces Bay right now. They're all running down this shoreline towards Portland. They're coming from the Gulf, and they're just working their way down this shoreline. When you see that white water, if you got some live croaker, free lining live croaker in that white water, you got the potential catching redfish, black drum, speckled trout. There's some piers out here. So anywhere around these piers have been holding fish, but the little bit rougher and windier it is, the more that these fish fire up. So out here, since I've been going out here, I've been using live croaker. Seems like that's been catching a little bit of everything. If I want to get up there tied up on these rocks and work these flats, then cut mullet or cut menhaden have been working real well on the redfish. On those good calm mornings, when you can get out here to these gas wells out here, been trolling around these gas wells. The trout are starting to show up out here. There's still a few redfish out here. Some of the bigger bulls are out here. There's still a few sheephead hanging around. The pompano are coming into the jetties, Port Aransas jetties, and it ain't going to be no time that they're going to be out here on these gas wells out in Corpus Bay. So on them good calm days, if you ain't been out here, it's a good place to come playing. Just make sure it's calm, because Corpus Bay can get kind of bouncy and rough when that wind starts picking up. Out here in front of the L-head, the trout bite starts picking up. Out here with free lining croaker, you're going to find the trout right through here, or even a rattle trap. If you into artificials, then Rapala rattle traps, you can come through here and really catch you a good mess of trout through here also. Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Monte Graham.